Hey everyone. How's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing today? Oh my gosh, look at me. What do you think I am doing today? Where do you think I am? Because I am getting freaking tired of this weather. Where do you think I am? I don't know if can you guys hear me? I don't know if my mic's working. Today we're going to talk about lies, lies, lies. And if we don't pay attention to the lies, we share the lies with each other. And when we share the lies with each other, we keep them alive, right? We keep the lies alive. We add the V into the lie and we keep them alive. And I'm going to point out, I'm going to show you guys some footage throughout this too of what are the lies that are being fed to us. And you're lying to yourself if you don't realize that these lies are being fed to you. And the reason you're going to be like, what does this have to do with astrology? Well, we've got a lot of planets in Scorpio, and it's about to leave Scorpio. So we're very much triggered by the lies. With Scorpio, it's all about deception and the reception of that deception. And are you falling for it? Are you falling for it? Hook, line, and sinker. So I'm going to go live on TikTok. And there we go. And I'm probably going to be black and white again because I haven't figured out how to change that back. Okay, where am I? I'm in Canada. Ontario. It's freaking cold here. We've been dealing with snow on top of snow on top of snow on top of snow for the last freaking 6 weeks. And I am tired of it. I am tired of this weather. So soon enough, we are going to be in Mexico. So let's talk about lies. Now, I know you guys are listening. I want to see you in the chat room on my YouTube. Please, guys, come on to my chat room and let's talk about the lies. So I'm not just talking about conspiracy. I'm not just talking about the government. I'm talking also about the lies that we share with each other because it suits our agenda, because we're angry, because there's resentment. And this has been a 5 years of resentment, for some people even longer. And this has to do with all of this energy in Scorpio. Now, we got a new moon coming. If you guys don't know what's going on for the week, go back to my YouTube channel. I'll put it on TikTok soon and take a look at my predictions for the entire week because we're slowly moving into Sagittarius. And guess what the energy is around Sagittarius after Scorpio? So Scorpio is all about lies and deceptions, vulnerability, feeling doubt, and uncovering vulnerable situations from the depth of the soul of society. Then Sagittarius represents the truth and freedom. The truth shall set you free. So the new moon on Saturday after this broadcast, remember you guys, I broadcast every day at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. And I am doing predictions as well. So I will do that at the end of the broadcast after we talk about the lies. Now, as long as you guys share the lies, you keep the lie alive. And I'll tell you one of the ones that was very prominent for me today, and it was on Facebook. And there's a few different things going on with Facebook. So Facebook has to do, it's starting to become fake book. I think they should turn it and start calling it fake book because there's a whole bunch of groups on there that are not real. I mean, there's so many groups on there, and the groups are set for me to see only the groups, the fake groups that I'm interested in. So whatever I'm doing on Facebook, it starts creating these groups, and hundreds and thousands of people are in this group. And I'll even go in there, like, I'm like, Who made this group? Is this a real group? And people think it is, but it's not. So since people are leaving Facebook and slowly gravitating away from Facebook, hi Lori, they're just creating a bunch of fake, and there's fake people too that are sharing this fake algorithmic news and commentary that they think I might be interested in. So a Facebook friend, I'm not even sure if she really is, right? But I didn't search to see if this was a friend, but I seen it on my feed. I don't see the freaking people I know on my feed. So we're talking about lies, lies, lies. We're talking about the energy in Scorpio, and I'm going to do free readings at the tail end. But you need to know this energy because it's coming to an end. Then we're going to have this Sagittarius energy, a whole bunch of planets moving into Sag, and it's about the truth. Okay. We're also looking at the last year in 2025 and how many things have been coming up that needed legal attention, right? Court cases, arrests, allegations, people being killed and murdered, and who done it, and they say they caught the person, but we don't see the follow through. I started looking at that. There's several things, Trump getting shot in the ear, Charlie Kirk dying, the girl in the subway that was from Czechoslovakia, I believe, or Poland. She was murdered. All of these things get headline news, and everybody argues and debates and does everything they do with it and share it and RIP and everything. But we don't know what's going on. We don't know what the results are. And unless you watch Candace Owen, and even then, Candace, I still don't know what's going on. Like, you're putting out all of this stuff, but all it's doing is perpetuating that we don't know what's going on. And so the Scorpio energy is, and this is where I got encouraged to do this, was on Facebook, somebody shared. So now it's Rob Reiner, right? Rob Reiner and his wife had been murdered. And now there's all kinds of lies and deceptions going on around there. So somebody put up this meme, and it looks like a X post. It was from Donald Trump. It looked like a X post. But then when I looked at it, there was a little fuzzy, Facebook emblem in the corner, icon in the corner. So I looked it up. I looked it up on Donald Trump's Facebook. I looked it up on Donald Trump's X. I looked it up on Donald Trump's Instagram, even though it clearly looked like it was supposed to be Facebook. And there was nothing on there that was there. In fact, he hadn't posted in a couple of quite a few days actually on X. But on Facebook, he did do a live talk. He was to talk about something else, but he started out by saying his condolences to what happened on the beach of Australia with the first day of the celebration of Hanukkah and all the killings, RIP. It's horrible, but I don't want to dwell on that because that's not what I'm here to talk about. And this person posts on there, the reason that, and it looked like it was Trump saying it, and Trump saying, the reason why something terrible like this happened to Rob Reiner was because he had Trump syndrome. And I don't know what it's called, but it's when you hate Trump so much that it actually affects your mental health. That is a stupid thing that's going around, right? And that his mental health was so disturbed by this Trump syndrome. And it was saying that it made it look like Trump posted this. Well, he didn't. Okay, so what I'm mad at, I'm not a Trump person. I'm freaking Canadian. I actually never liked him at the beginning. I'm on the fence. I agree with some things, disagree with other things. But needless to say, what I'm blaming is that person, you guys, sharing this news. And when I call people out on this and going, this is a lie, you're sharing fake news, they're like, well, it doesn't matter if it's fake. It's true anyways, because I hate him and I don't like him and people shouldn't like him either. Okay, fine. Share stuff that you don't like about someone you don't like, but make sure it's the truth, that it is something someone actually said. Think about this in high school, guys. When you were in high school and someone didn't like you and they made up lies about you, like horrible lies that got spread around everywhere so that other people wouldn't like you too. And none of it was true. None of it. Maybe one or two things were true, but the rest of it wasn't true. You know what? The person spreading that gossip, you guys should rot in hell. That's just me. I'm sorry. Because, and if you spread it and you still don't know the accuracy of it, because you didn't go to find out through the horse's mouth who, if this news is true, and the horse's mouth would be me, if you're spreading it about me, then you're an accomplice and you're just as guilty. So here we are, a bunch of accomplices, right? Around, I like that CRB. That's a good point. I'm going to mention that in a second. There's a very good point that a regular of mine in the chat room on YouTube mentioned, and you guys want to hear this too. We are living in this energy of Scorpio, and the Scorpion energy is going to bring out the worst in us, that we want to spread propaganda and lies and untruths. And there's a lot that's going to be coming out into the court system, and that's going to be going on Trump's desk. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to see if I can share. I tried to share a video last week and it didn't really go through. So I'm hoping it would go through this time. And my point is, if you do not like a political party or a political leader representative, share the truth so people can make their own decisions, not lies. Because now it's not media's fault. It's not big media's fault. It's not the big newspaper's fault. It's not the government's fault. It's our fault. We are the losers. We are the idiots. We are the naive. We are the one that's spreading hate. We are the one that's spreading weaknesses. We are the one that's dividing each other, and we are all going to lose, and we're all going to go down with the ship, and we're only ourselves to blame. You can blame Carney because there's a whole land grab going on out there, and you may not have your land secured in the near future. You can blame a certain culture or religion. You can blame a terrorist, and you can blame your government in the United States. But at the end of the day, most of it has to do with you. If there is someone who should be called out and reprimanded and taken out of the general public, for instance, in media, then it's up to us to follow the people that are calling them out and that are telling the truth. It's up to us to do that. So, for instance, Sean Ryan right now is calling out I think it's a Republican. I think it's a Republic representative. I may be off. He has the eye patch, so you guys can look it up. And what I like is this guy with the eye patch. Maybe somebody in here can tell me who that person is. I don't want to flip pages and look him up right now. He called out Sean Ryan and said, "I'm going to sue you for defamation." And Sean Ryan went in on public on his channel with 2-point-something million followers and said, "This guy's calling me out. Here's the text. He's going to sue me." So what I like, though, is that the way this congressman responded was, "I will come on air and do a podcast with you and answer any question that you have." That's mature. That's what should be done. That's exactly what should be done. And let everyone witness it and let everyone watch it. And if Sean Ryan can, because he doesn't usually do lives, he should do it live. And that's that. There are people in the military that worked on Area 51 that are coming out right now to Trump and saying, "Our military, our FBI, our CIA will not protect us. We put our life on the lines on Area 51." Everybody knows what Area 51 is. And many of them have their lifespan is to the age of 62 because they've had weaponry like that caused brain damage, that causes cancers, that causes these anomalies in the pressures on the brain, probably by their own people. And they're and they have no health care. You leave the frickin' army in the United States and no one takes care of you, not even your own government. That's appalling. It's disgusting, really. Now, when we share things that are not true, and you can look this up on News Nation. The video I'm talking about is today went on live at News Nation, where the veterans are asking that worked in Area 51 are asking Trump for help. Now, what CRB says is what to expect from young souls. I agree and I disagree. He said it's like arguing with a child in first grade elementary and you are last year in college. I personally don't try to argue with them. I agree with you in that point. You're right. It is futile for me to get upset by this, to argue with somebody about it. But I think I still need to say my piece because I grew up with bullying. I grew up with the victim and the target of it. And I shouldn't say victim because I don't feel victimized. I don't think I ever did then either. It wasn't something that I carried around with me for the rest of my life. But I'm just writing down October 31st, 95. How many children do I see in the chart? And I'll tell you what I really like. And she already has two. I'll tell you what I like people to ask me about because I'm going to tell you what's really going to make the difference in your life when you know this one answer. Really huge difference. And I'm going to give you the answer when I look up your chart. And this will be replayed on YouTube if you want to take a look at it. So with that being said, some children are wiser than adults. If you went up to a 7-year-old, a whole bunch of 7-year-olds, and you ask them, if I say something mean about your friends to all the other people in your classroom, would that be kind and loving? And I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 of them would be like, no, then what should we do? Well, you shouldn't say mean things about anyone that's not true. If I said that to a 27-year-old or a 37-year-old or a 57-year-old, I guarantee you there would be a hesitation. Should we say things mean about other people we really don't know about to other people? And you know what you're going to get? I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get, well, it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Whose circumstances? Your subjective circumstances. That's what it depends on. It doesn't depend on anybody else, right? You're not looking at like the big picture here and you're not understanding the big picture. And I think what really frustrates me is that we're going down. Guys, we're in trouble. If we keep spreading news and gossip that isn't true just because it suits your narrative, because you hate Trump or you hate Carney or you I don't know, whatever it is, you believe in the war with Russia or you believe in the war with Ukraine or you are Palestine or you're Israel and or whatever, right? If you spread news that isn't accurate, memes, fake snapshots, then you're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're all in trouble because we can't rely on each other. If we don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, I was raised. It's true. I'm terrible at that. When I'm in a bitchy mood, we all get in these moods, right? Sometimes only to the people I feel comfortable with, like my husband, I'll say something and I'll be like, oh my God, Holly, that was not nice. And not nice actually isn't that bad for me. But we do that. We all have those vulnerable times where we say things that are not nice. Some more than others. I've had it happen to me so many times, right up until just a couple of years ago, that it just blows me away that people in their 50s are saying 40s and 50s and 60s, acting like children because they're scared. They're scared that these narratives that are being proposed on social media, on Facebook, are real and what's going to happen with them. And it's really hard. I'm going to tell you guys how to balance your spiritual and your human nature. Okay. Now CRB says truth isn't nice, but I'll say it anyways. What truth? Like, what is this truth? What do you mean by truth? Is it your truth? Is it a subjective truth? Is it their truth? Is it something that's going to help them grow or learn, or is it going to benefit them in any way? That's something that you really have to seriously consider too. Your best friend, I'm going to propose this one to you guys. And so, since the energy that we're in is Scorpio right now, and it is about cheaters and lying and deception and deceiving and doing things behind people's back, let's say this literally happened to me. Let's say you hook your best friend up with a family member and they get it on and they're dating. It's like month 2 of their dating and they're still in the dating mode. And you find out that one of them, right? And I'm not saying the best friend is a girl, just saying, and I'm not saying they're a boy and a girl together. But what if you find out that one of them didn't cheat on them, but did have a relationship just before that relationship started and someone got pregnant and it wasn't one of them? Someone got pregnant. Would you tell your friend or would you think it's none of your business? This is when CRB says the truth isn't nice, but you have to say it anyways. What would you do? Would you tell your friend? What would you do? I'll tell you what I did at the end. And this was several years ago. I would tell if it was my friend. Yeah. And I'll tell you what I did end up doing. I looked at all scenarios and I thought each scenario could turn out bad for me. Could really put me in a bad place no matter what. If I didn't say anything and I knew, it could put me in a bad place. And you know what the kicker is this particular person that is separate from the relationship that told me this news, which I didn't know at first, was a client of mine who found me on Facebook. I never met this person. I only did readings by texting or by my hearing my voice, recording it and sending it to them, which is the way I do readings. If I don't talk to you in person, I have these recorded readings or I have texting readings and I can send you via email. I never have to see you. And they didn't tell me who they were. They had a fake name, so I had no clue. And I really didn't know the backstory. So even if they told me who they were, I probably wouldn't know what the backstory was. And then deep into me getting to know this person and feeling bad for this person and really wanted to support this person and coaching this person, I find out. So I'll tell you what I did, and then we're going to start doing some readings, but I'm also going to tell you a few things that's going to be coming to light this week that has to come to light. So what I did was I told the family member what I knew. I don't even know if they knew. So I told the family member what I knew. And I said, if you don't tell my friend, then I'm going to tell her. So they did the right thing, I think, and fessed up. But then I did continue guiding this client that I had. And then that's what blew up in my face. They got really mad that I was still answering questions and helping support them in a completely different scenario. And so I said, blood is thicker than water. So I ended the client-based relationship, which I think was a total right thing to do. But that whole thing blew up in my face. We weren't really that close anymore after that, put it that way. Weren't that close at all. And but to this day, I don't know any other way. So when you say CRB, I would tell the truth. What would you do? CRB hasn't even answered me. What would you do in that situation? And you're a dude. So what would a dude do? I think a dude, would you tell your best dude friend, hey, I found out someone's pregnant and you just started dating someone I know, what would you do? Would you go to the dude and tell him? Or would you just like shut up? Because dudes are way different than girls, right? Girls, we overthink it. We think of all the different scenarios. We don't want to lose our friendships. And that's what we end up doing. So when it comes to, I would tell somebody the truth, even if it hurt them. That's easier said than done. It's not that cut and dry. And in that situation, I was manipulated by that particular person. I was put in a very bad position. But to be honest with you, I don't even think that person knew my relationship with the new partner. I don't think she did. I don't know. I have no idea. But I did, and to this day, I think I did the only thing that I could do. Like, what else could I do? Because my other scenario was, what if I don't say nothing? And then they find out that I knew, and then they're like, why didn't you tell me? They're still together, by the way. They got married, and they're still together to this day. But my part in the relationship is very, very, very strange and strained. I'm that way. I say what I think is right. I lost a lot of friends on problematic, but I don't care. It's not that maybe you don't care because you're a dude, but I care, but I don't care. Like, I'm like, it is what it is, you know? You don't want to be friends with me? Well, your loss. You were but relationships. Some are close, some professional, some complicated. So a lot of resentment is happening this week, and the energy of resentment is happening. And I'm thinking of scenarios like that and other ones that have been really challenging for me because people are not authentic. They don't want to work at maintaining relationships. And in order to maintain a relationship, it takes vulnerability, it takes honesty. And what happened to the other girl that got pregnant? She had the baby and stayed in the relationship that she was in. Yeah. She has a few babies. She's in a very, without me saying too much, the person that was pregnant is in a very, very, very complicated situation. None of us would want to be in that circumstances. And she really didn't have a way out, but that is what happened. So with that being said, it's hard sometimes to know what the truth is, but once you research it yourself, like even once I knew what this person had told me, I didn't really know what the truth was. So I still went, to my family member. Maybe that family member would have turned around and said, she's full of shit. It's not true. And I'd be like, all right, then I'm done. I'm done with it. It's good that I know this now. Right now, when we share memes or we share things, this is what's happening on Facebook right now, which is one of my pet peeves, is that they're creating groups and are creating fake people that are sharing things that pertain to me that I might be interested in. And you wouldn't believe how many times I've almost pressed share. And then I realize, even though it's something valuable, like it's not bullshit or it's not lies or anything like that, it's something valuable. I realize I am sharing a Facebook fake group or a Facebook fake person, even though it's just a meme that says, we should love each other, even though it's really difficult at Christmas, something like that, right? It's innocent. But I realize I'm sharing and I'm creating this sort of propaganda of Facebook, creating all this fake stuff. And I don't understand how they benefit from this. Can anybody tell me? I don't understand how they benefit from this. It keeps Facebook alive, fake book alive. Is this happening on Instagram? Is this happening on Twitter? because Twitter has this policy that free speech, so you can have all the free fake speech you want. So when we're in this energy of Scorpio, and we're going to be moving into truth, knowledge, Sag, so all the truth will come out. All the court cases will come out. All the answers will come to fruition. All of the podcasters are going to be confronted with other podcasters because that's where it is right now. For me, anyways, I don't watch the mainstream news. One of my, I was at a party last night, and we're going to the States, Arizona, as you all know, in February. And one person came up to me and said, this couple, and said, "Aren't you worried about going to the States?" And I'm like, "No, why?" And they said, I said, "We were just there in October. We spent a month there and there was no problems getting there and coming back." And she says, "Oh, it's just, the things that are out there." And I'm like, "Politically?" I'm Canadian, okay, guys? I'm like, "Politically?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, kind of. Like if you go over the border, you have to get this paperwork done and you have to show your phone, you have to show your social media, what your posts are on social media." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Where did you hear this from?" And she goes, "On the news." And I go, "On the news." That was my first tip. On the news. Okay. Now, first of all, people read headlines and they skim through it and they don't read it. Well, guess what happened? Even though I got NORD on my phone and everything, but guess what happens? A news feed pops up the next day for me that is talking about this bill that's about to pass, that Trump is about to pass. And it's like the UK agrees with it and parts of the EU agree with it. And that they're going to be checking the last 5 years of people's social media that have no visa, that are coming to the United States from a select amount of countries. And you have to fill out this paperwork online. But if you really read it, it hasn't been passed yet. Congress has not accepted it, and it's not happening because it hasn't been passed. So this is a half-truth. Do you understand what half-truths are? This is a half-truth. That means it is something that could be happening, but hasn't happened or may never happen at all. But she presented it to me as if it was a complete truth. This is happening. You're going to go over the border and this is what's going to happen to you. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, my spidey sense went off right away and said, yeah, I don't think so. So this is regular news pitching this. And unless you really read the entire right to the end, you don't see that it's actually not in play yet. It's like saying that someone is pregnant when all you heard was she took a pregnancy test because she's a week late. You don't know if she's pregnant. And you don't even know if she's taken a pregnancy test because you heard this from your neighbor. But hey, it's in the know. Everyone knows about it, so it must be true. And this has been a problem in our society. So if we're going to go down with the ship, if we're in trouble, if you're scared, if you're frightened, if you don't know whether your heads or tails or up or down, don't blame Big Brother. Don't blame people that seemingly have control over us like a government. Blame yourself. Blame yourself for what you purchase on the shelf at the grocery store. Blame yourself for what you buy online. Blame yourself for sharing media that isn't true. Blame yourself for accepting media that isn't true without doing your own research. I'm literally the research queen. People literally send stuff to me. And I get to the point, I was like, why are you sending this to me? Because you know I'm going to go down a 2-hour rabbit hole. And they're like, yeah, that's why we're sending it to you. Because you're going to do that. I'm like, okay, you could probably start out with that. I'm sending this to you, Holly. Could you research this for me? And sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Because I've actually stopped doing it for myself. If I get a spidey sense that something is off, I don't even bother. I used to, I have to prove it. I have to prove it. I have to go down rabbit holes and prove whether my intuition or my instinct is right or wrong. But I don't do it anymore because I just know I'm always right. It's always inaccurate. Money in politics is bribery. not how they call lobbyism. I don't believe any politician until money are out of politics. That is an interesting way of looking at it. If we look at politics as a business, then we're looking at them, their only end game is for the business to stay alive. And the only way for the business to stay alive is for all the CEOs and people in upper management to keep their jobs. And in order for them to keep their jobs, the people that work on the floor need something to work on the floor for. And there has to be money. There has to be profit. And if there's no profit, they have to get rid of people on the floor. And if there's even more no profit, they're going to start pruning the people at the top that are making 10 times more money than the people on the floor, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about making money. So CRB is right. If they didn't make money, and I don't know what it's like in the United States, but in Canada, if you work for the government for 4 years, whether you're a mayor or a politician or a congressman or the prime minister, you're good to go. Like Prime Minister Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, he's set for life, and he's only in his mid-40s, set for life. So you get a pension the size of freaking Canada. You get this massive pension. They only work for corporations, not for us. And that's the other thing too. There's tons of corporations involved. But at the end of the day, we don't need them. We don't need them. And I'm going to share this with you. See if I hope I can share this. Let me try, because this guy is like spot on. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Okay. And that is this guy here. I hope you guys can see this.
Hill that you intend to die on, this is it. If they manage to put this in place while everybody's distracted with arguing over Charlie Kirk and debating whether Trump's peace plan is viable and whether the Arabs are the good guys or the Jews the bad guys or what's going on, all this sort of stuff, and distracted by all this crap, then this is going to come online. And the only thing that is going to stop it is our complete non-compliance. And again, withdrawing service from the people that are attempting to enslave humanity this way. You don't have to put up with this. Maybe, you don't want to have a revolution. You're a non-violent person. You don't want to do anything untoward. You don't want to get yourself in trouble. You don't believe that there's anybody you can vote in or out to fix the problem, and you're correct, because you can't. There is no political remedy to any of this. Well, one thing you can do is withdraw service from all of these people. That's something we can all do. Maybe if enough people actually wake up to themselves and realize that we are the ones with the power, then we can change it.
Yeah. So I don't know if that showed you guys on my live. It's I practiced it before too, but he's right. He's an older guy. He looks like a farmer. He looks like a humble, honest, down-to-earth farmer. And he's basically saying everything's a distraction. And we got to stop servicing the higher ups. And what does that mean? What does that mean by stop servicing them? If we grow our own food, we build our own houses, we pave our own roads, we build our own medical community, we don't have to live off the salt of the earth. There are ingenious people out there with inventive skills that don't want to give it to the government, or the government has shut them down, made it impossible for them, too much red tape for them to make their ingenious idea successful. So if we do all that, then we don't need them, and they have nothing they can offer us. There's nothing we want. But in Canada, and I predicted this about a year ago, and it's going to happen in this, I don't know if it's going to happen as strongly in the States. I think they have their own agenda. But in Canada, the government wants to become our boss, wants to become our paycheck, wants to become our landlord, and wants to become our home builders, and wants to become our bank as well. And that's the agenda. And that I've said this for like 3 or 4 years. And that's how they will continue to create a need. I had a vision today, and these are my downloads, where so I went to a secondhand store and I went to look for something and I purchased a couple of things. And then I came back home and I wanted to bring things that I had from home. I thought I'm going to give this back to the secondhand store. Why did I pay $10 for these items that I purchased to only go give them stuff for free? And everyone that works there is a volunteer because it's called Bibles for Mission. So everyone there is a volunteer. And all this money is to go to missionaries that go around spreading the word of the Bible, which is a good cause. It's not a bad cause. But why not have a place? It doesn't have to be Bibles if it's a charity, right? So they have a charitable cause and that's fine. But why not have another place, like a thrift store? And I would bring a bunch of stuff and they would label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They would label all my items and they would give me a ticket. You got a 1 ticket, you got a 5 ticket, you got a 7 ticket, you got an 8 ticket, you got a 10 ticket, right? And they would have a smooth process here. Maybe they would there might be 10 volunteers and they will take 10 at a time to be able to determine this because they have to give me these tickets right away. And then I can go, and then these items are also labeled 1, 5, 6, 7, 10. And then I can go into this store and I can use these tickets to purchase items that are worth the same amount. I can purchase something that's worth a 1. I can purchase something that's worth 8. And these are all volunteers from your community. Isn't that brilliant? This is a download I received. Like, is that a brilliant idea? I think it's a brilliant idea. It's all volunteer. It's all community-based. It's all corporate. Maybe a church opens up their basement to it. Maybe a school opens up on the weekend for 2 days out of the school system. Maybe people do it in their, a group collective garage sale 2 days a week. Who knows? Can't do that in Canada, though. We get too cold. But why can't we do this? We could do it online. But see, then that gets complicated, right? I think it's better this in-person thing. And that would be the way that we purchase. We could do this with food. We could do this with pre-made foods like, I don't know, like bread and crackers and bagels. And I could make canned goods and do this the same way. I could bring canned goods. I made 100 jars of tomatoes, and I don't want 100 jars of tomatoes. Then I take 20 jars of tomatoes, and I can replace it with 20 jars of beets. Like, this is the work that we have to do. And this is the great divide, and this is the way I see it in the future. Now we're going to take a look at doing a reading. This is a brand new person, so I'm eager to do this reading. And she's asked if she's going to have any more children. She already has 2, and she's born in 1995. October 31st. You didn't say, let me see. Where are you? 12:28 a.m. Hey, you guys, I'm going to be live tomorrow, by the way. It's midnight, depending on where you are, and Eastern Standard Time. It's midnight till 3 in the morning. It's 9 o'clock if you're in specific time zone. And it's on a radio live YouTube from BC, Canada, and it's called Spaced Out Radio. Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put you share it there in my posts, on my Facebook, on my posts, and I'll share it on my TikTok too. But just go to Spaced Out Radio. You're going to find me. It's tomorrow night. I'm live, and it's going to be a really exciting show. And you can chat in the live, just like here, which I think is fun to do. So according to this, it shows 4 children. Now, let me help you understand the accuracy of this, like where I read this. I got 12:28, yes. And that is, I got you in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And that is the 4th and the 5th house. So your 4th house shows 4 children. Are you one of 4 children, or was there 4 children? Because at the end it shows me 3. But it shows 4 children. And 2 are close together, like 3 years apart. And then there's like 8 years. And then there's 9 years. So the last 2 might not be exactly in the years, but the last 2, right? You have 1 brother, big age gap. Okay. So I'm seeing 4. Now, it's only because I see 4 planets in the 4th house, and that's it. It doesn't mean you're gonna have 2 more, the accuracy. But what I will tell you, this is a special gift, because this is what is going to change your life, not whether you're gonna have more children or not. You're very, very fertile. You can have as many children as you want, so be careful, right? You're very fertile. But you need to be the boss of you, and you have very little trust in allowing other people to be the boss of you. You need to either be self-employed in upper management, or you'll be the best goddamn parent there is out there and micromanage your children, your children's lives, and make sure that they're the most successful people on the planet. That's your mission. Your mission statement is about keeping the peace, to not argue, to not bully anyone, to not force anyone into your way of thinking based on your fears, to do what is fair and what is just, and then only to teach and only to speak what benefits the other person. So if you find yourself backing down a lot, don't be hard on yourself, because you're not supposed to bulldoze down people. You admire people that can speak the truth and not be afraid of what other people think, but you're not supposed to be that person. And there are people that are born to be that person. You're here to work for yourself. And if you're unhappy in your job and in your career, that's why. Because you're not supposed to work for other people. And if you're not autonomous or don't have an autonomous job, you're very, very interested in psychology and what psychologically makes people who they are, and very interested in healthcare. In fact, one of your children will require your knowledge, your research, your extensive research into the food and the nutrition, because it's food and nutrition that affects this one child. They got a lot of allergies, got a lot of sensitivities. They might have anxiety. They might have headaches. They might have digestive issues, and you're going to go from doctor to doctor and place to place, and that's not going to be the problem. The problem is the nutrition and the food, and a lot of chemicals in the food, because this particular child is very sensitive to chemicals. It may be a child you have now. It may be that next child coming along. Okay. So I'm not getting feedback. I'm not sure if this resonates with her. Oh, she says, yes, I'm already figuring that out. So you've already got issues, and her little symbol is a strawberry. Yeah. So you're already figuring it out. What issues, right? Karen, what can I do to fix my karma? March 23, 97. So good for you. You're on it. You got it figured out. And you're not going to let no professional tell you what to do. That's why you end up researching it. And it actually pisses you off when you go to your doctor and say, look at what I've got. And they just go, just keep taking the medication. No, this particular child is very sensitive to medication, as are you. The side effects that everybody gets, they get. I mean, the side effects that very rarely people get, they get, is what I meant to say. So this week is about your truth. What is your truth? So March 23rd, 1997, how do I fix my karma? What a great question. Holly, Angie. I love it. I'm more drawn to being kind, lol. Yeah, you are. You are. But you do admire those that can be off the cuff, right? So let's look at March 23rd's karma. We're going to look at her. Well, we can't look at her 12th house because she doesn't have her time of birth, but I can look at her north node, and I can look at, oops, I can't even look at the moon because the moon changed signs 2 hours. Like the moon changed signs between 1 and 4 in the morning. Oh, 7 in the morning. Okay, so you're a moon. Okay, that's close. Very good. All right. 7 in the morning, usually when it's rounded off like that, very few people are born exactly on the hour at the top of the hour. So I would give it, and we don't know where you're born. That can shift it a bit too. But either way, you come from a life of abandonment. You come from a life of loss. Much of it was related to your mother and your father. It was how they related to each other. Okay. It's good to see you here too, Angie. It's how they related to each other. And this put you in a very vulnerable state as a child, and it made you feel abandoned, invisible, very critical in nature was one of your parents as well, very critical. And because you highly regard the concept of family, this was very painful for you. And your karma is not to suffer in silence and to not see your abandonment as a source of suffering, as a crutch. Because in many lifetimes, in the past, many lifetimes, you've come here with 4 lifetimes of karma. You have used it as a crutch and you just became alone. You isolated yourself from society. You might even birthed yourself into an isolation of society. Like you went to work in a monastery. You went to be a nun in a monastery so you could be away from society. You locked yourself up in a hut in the middle of nowhere, growing your own food and taking care of yourself so you could keep yourself away from society. You lived in an institution most of those lives. You birthed yourself, right? So in this lifetime, it's asking you, first of all, you're learning self-love and self-compassion. No one's going to give it to you but yourself. It sounds like I would say that to everybody, right? It sounds like I could say that to everybody, but with people with strong Pisces in their chart, their level of compassion is top notch. You know compassion hands down. You know what compassion is. You know when people aren't compassionate. You know when the world is suffering because of a lack of compassion. And you're absolutely 100% right. So now it's to turn that compassion inward and then help those who have suffered the same suffering that you have. I don't feel like myself. I'm having health issues. I don't know if my family is contributing to my health issues. Well, if they're the ones that you're a source of abandonment and you're constantly people pleasing them, you're in service to them, you've become servant to them, then yeah, you have a strong inflammatory body. You're very sensitive to drugs and chemicals. So if they're using drugs, I'm not a medical professional, do your own due diligence. But if they're using drugs in order to help you with some of these issues, you're sensitive to those. So even ask the doctor if there's different types of drugs you could use, the same one, but a different sort, maybe experimenting with them. If there's a natural way, because you have a blood issues, blood heart issues. So it could be blood sugar. And if it's just diet, like you just got to take sugar, like all refined sugars out of your diet, then you get rid of refined sugars out of your diet, which also includes bread and rice and corn and all of these other things. And so you got to drink a little bit more water than the average bear. And if the nose surgery is because you got the polyps and everything, that's inflammation. You got to go on an AIP anti-inflammatory diet, basically, because you have a very inflammatory body. Usually that is a strong Aries or a strong first house component. So I would have to look at your chart according to your birthplace, which we could put. If you're saying, am I going to have that surgery? When am I going to have that surgery? When will I be picked on the list? I would give you the date in 2026. You had a date and you got pushed off, or they said it was only going to be a couple of months, and 6 months later, you still didn't have it. So now we're looking at Yeah. It's also inflammation. You might have a deviated septum, but I really want you to look up AIP, anti-inflammatory diet. You're going to take eggs. You're going to take dairy. You're going to take sugar. You're going to take gluten out of your diet, 100%. Okay, she says I'm right. It took forever to get the consultation. Yeah, but they kept promising that was going to come sooner. Anyways, it's going to happen in April. That's when I see it. You might think it'll happen in February, but it won't, and it'll happen in April. But I want you to prepare yourself for it, and this gives you 5 months to prepare yourself for it. And I've gone on an A. I've done all those things, and you can do it. If you could, I did it for 3 months, and then I was able to bring back things into my diet every so often, and it didn't flare me up all the time. I couldn't consistently do it, but every once in a while, I could have a treat. I could have a little bit of dairy, and it wouldn't really bother me. So there's your answers there. Okay, everyone, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for the regulars that are in the chat room on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, on TikTok. AskHollyHall.com, AskHollyHall.com is, see, listen to this girl on TikTok. I don't know what your KS. Someone on YouTube said he took out dairy out of his diet and all of his sinus issues went away. I'm not lying to you. It's the truth. Dairy, specifically Canadian American dairy, is a culprit. So I took dairy out of my life completely, but I had to take other things out too. And then suddenly, thank you, Angie. I'd love to work with you. She said she's going to book a call with me. AskHollyHall.com. And I can have the odd like goat cheese or other European cheese. Okay. All right, everyone. I got a call coming in. Namaste.